It's Michelle from Three Light Yoga. Coming on live today to talk about a few ways that we can use on a day to day basis to try and stay calm, to try and stay relaxed and quite centered when everything around us can be going a little bit crazy. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but after a while, when you're pretty much in the same house with the same people all the time, no matter how much you love them, there's a point where stuff gets on top of you, the kids are not helpful, loads of stuff to do with work, having to juggle that with the children, with the house. It's a lot, and I find personally that I get to a point where I need to use those little tips that I've learned from my yoga teacher training to help me stay calm and stay centered during those days. And today I just wanted to share some of those tips with you. And so the first one I wanted to share is to do with breathing. So we take breathing very much for granted. And actually the breath is the most powerful tool we have to change our emotions. Depending on how you use the breath, it can actually make you feel relaxed or make you feel more anxious. If you breathe quickly, quick, shallow breath, you'll find that your anxiety level are likely to go sky high. And equally, the other way around, if you take slow, long breath, then you'll find that you calm down, you become more relaxed. And that's what we're going to explore today. So the first tip I would say is if you feel that it's all getting a little bit on top of you, one advice I would say is go somewhere for like 2 minutes where you're not going to be disturbed and just take the time to breathe. Breathe slowly, breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe, see if you can allow your abdominal muscles to expand. That can feel a bit weird, especially you. Yeah, it can feel a little bit strange at the beginning, but when you have a nice deep breath and that you find that your abdomen is expanding, it's actually a very relaxing breath. So, what I would advise is take a couple of minutes, go and take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and then you can breathe out through your mouth, nice and slowly. And as you breathe out, see if you can imagine that you're letting go of whatever's caused you any stress or any tension. Okay? So that's the first thing I would say is if you're too stressed, if it's all getting a bit too much, take 2 minutes for yourself and take the time to really notice how you breathe. The second tip I would give you is to shrug. Good old shrug. We don't do it often enough. I do it in all my yoga classes, pretty much all of them. You can be sure that there'll become a point where we'll be going and we'll shrug. And that feels amazingly good. It really relaxes all of those muscles around the neck, around the shoulders, which when we are tense, those are the muscles that they creep up a bit, don't they? The shoulders creep up, muscles get tighter, and doing a shrug releases the physical tension. And by doing that, it does make you feel a lot better. Plus, again, it's a nice, strong breath. So if you want to try now, let's go for it. You can breathe in, shrug, 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 and then breathe out. And we can do that one more time. Breathe in and shrug, and breathe out to relax. So as I said, that's one that I use in pretty much all of my yoga classes. I actually don't tend to use it very often myself, but I really should because it definitely is very, 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 very powerful and very, very strong way of releasing tension. And then a third tip that I would give you, if it all gets a bit too much and you want to step out a little bit of that stress that's going on in your head, is to practice gratitude. Because you'll find that when you feel grateful about something, about the simplest thing, like the weather today is absolutely beautiful, that's one thing for me to be grateful. I know not everybody agrees, but there you go. And if you practice gratitude, you find that the negative emotions slowly fade away. So one thing you can do is pick up something, anything around you, like a pen, anything at all. It doesn't matter. And just take the time to notice that pen, to notice whatever you've picked up, and really feel it, appreciate it, hold it, feel the texture. You can try that now if you want. You can pick up a pen, pick up anything around you, feel the texture, and then just take a moment to think of all the people who have contributed to you having that thing in your hands. You've got the person who first of all came up with the idea. You've got whoever produced it, made it, who delivered it to the shops, or the delivery person who delivered it to you. Just take a moment to really appreciate the fact that that simple pen or that simple thing that you're holding in your hands didn't just appear. There's a whole stream of people who made it in such a way that it's here and you can enjoy it. And that's something that I do when I'm really feeling my anxiety levels going up. And by doing that, I find that it kind of puts everything back into perspective. It's not just me sitting at my desk working, for example. It's suddenly a whole stream of people who contributed to me being able to sit and to work with what I have here around me. And just taking that step back and taking that little bit of perspective on your problems, and being grateful for the simple things, for the little things, I find really helps when I'm stressed. And maybe you'd like to try that next time you feel that way. So with that, breathing. So the way you breathe will influence the way you feel. So that's a good one to start. It's take a few nice, deep, slow breaths. The second one was to shrug. If you feel tension creeping up, if you find your shoulders creeping up with tension, just intentionally lift them up and release. And as you breathe out, really let go. Imagine that whatever is bothering you is just gone. And the third one is to practice gratitude. The last little tip is for me, to whichever problem you have, take it out. Go in nature. Step in the garden. If you can go for a walk, go for a walk. And I personally find when I do that, that again is that idea of perspective. When you go into nature, suddenly you're one little thing, part of something much bigger. And your problems are, put into perspective. So if you go for a walk and that something is bothering you, you can start the walk with that in your mind and then focus on the walk, focus on your footsteps on the path, focus on whatever you're coming across, the fields, the trees, the birds. Just be in the moment. And by doing that, you're creating that little space that will enable your mind to gently soften and to let go of that tension. Because when we have tension, usually it's because we're either holding on to something or we're trying to push something away. And by taking that time in nature to just be, that need to hold, that need to push away, I find eases off. And then when you come back from your walk or when you come back inside, after spending some time in the garden, it's easier to deal with whatever is bothering you because you've given yourself that little space. Your mind has stepped away from the problem, stepped away from the tension, and you can look at it from a new approach, a new perspective again. So that is a very good one. And you can combine that. You can go for a walk and then take the time to pause and take a few deep, meaningful breaths. Or you can step in the garden and give yourself a good few shrugs. Or you can go for a walk and feel gratitude for the trees, for being able to take that time for you. And as I said, finally, just being in nature in itself is, I find, a great healer and a great way to find calmness and to find that little bit of peace of mind for you. So yes, those are my 4 tips. If you want to carve yourself that little bit of peace and quiet, of calm in your days, you can try them, all of them or some of them. And I would say try all of them when you can and see what works best. Personally, I find that going in nature is the best way for me to calm down. Some people might find that breathing is what really works for them, or that shrugging makes them feel good. It very much depends. Try and experiment with all of them and see what feels right. And just a little added note on the breathing aspect of things. I'll be holding an online workshop on the 18th of July about the breath and about how you can breathe to help you relax, to help you feel energized, to help you be more focused, to help you sleep at night if you've got problems sleeping. And so that's going to be on the 18th of July from 9 a.m. till 12. There'll be a break in the middle, about half an hour. It's going to be a Zoom workshop, a Zoom class. And there'll be a break in the middle, of course, so you can go for a cup of tea and a biscuit or two if you want. And so if you're interested by exploring that aspect of breathing, if you find that the breathing really has an impact on you, then I would highly recommend it to explore that a bit more and to try and incorporate that in your life. During the workshop, you'll be learning some specific tools, specific techniques that you can use to achieve different state of minds. So, hey, Faye, thank you for being here. That's great. I haven't posted the event yet, but it's going to be shortly on... actually, yes, I've posted a blog this morning, but the actual event is not on the Facebook line yet. On the Facebook page yet, but that's going to be coming very, very soon. So, yeah, have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy the sun. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.